On this episode of Designing Spaces, we'll follow along with a premier commercial and residential construction company as they show us how they expertly manage every aspect of your project, from start to finish. It's time to design. Let's go. Whether you're updating a space, restoring a historic location, or building from the ground up, the right team makes all the difference. Let's learn more from the experts at F&S Building Innovations, Inc.
When you're getting ready to start a remodel, one of the most important things that you can do is really think about how you use the space, the functionality of it. Also, get some inspiration. People use Pinterest boards. It really helps your designer or your contractor understand a direction that you want to go if you have some inspiration up front. There are some very specific steps involved when you want to start a renovation project. The first one is understanding exactly what your project is going to be. The design process can be very important. Some people already know what they want, but a lot of people need help. At F&S, we're able to do design drawings and 3D renderings so that they can walk through the space and have a real good understanding of it before they even get started. Once you know what you're pricing and have your dimensions and you know what it's supposed to look at, then you can actually put a budget together. The next is going to contract. At that point, you're assigned a project manager that's going to be with you all through the construction of the project. You're assigned a design team who's going to help you with your selections, with picking colors, with picking tile, a million different choices in everything that you do. So having help along the way is very helpful.
F&S Building Innovations, Inc. has been providing construction and remodeling services for a wide variety of commercial and residential spaces. And since day one, family has been at the core of its success.
We started the company, which is F&S Building, in October of 1976.
Family has always had a high priority. For instance, when we first started the company in the early years, I did everything at a desk in the corner of our bedroom while 3 little girls played under tents made out of blankets. When they were teenagers, I took all my files home. I worked from home, which wasn't done a lot in that time period, and went into the office on a limited basis just because I wanted to be there with them. F&S
has been a company that has been heavily involved with people and family, because that, as Dolores alluded to, has always been a priority in our life. So it's been fun to watch our family grow into the family business, if you will, and become part of it. And when we first started the company, we brought different skill sets. Gary was very good hands-on field operations, the actual construction part. I was good with the administrative end. So we both played equal but different parts in the start.
I think what probably sets F&S Building Innovations apart when it comes to renovations and larger projects is, a lot of people's motto is make sure your customers are satisfied. Our goal is not to make sure they're satisfied, but to make sure that they're happy when we walk away. There are so many times where we meet a new customer and by the end of it, we're friends. Our project managers are getting invitations to their kids' birthday parties. That's our goal. We want to make sure that we make the process as easy as possible, but we're able to get them through the design process, through the budgeting process, and through the finished product, and leave them happy customers.
The types of projects that F&S Building works on ranges all the way from home building, new construction, to renovation, to commercial projects. Our specialty, of course, being healthcare construction, whether it's renovating existing facilities, patient rooms, lobby areas, CT rooms, equipping a new room for new OR equipment, complete renovation of emergency departments, building a completely new addition to a hospital facility. We do retail remodeling, grocery store upfits, office improvements, tenant improvements, churches, religious facilities. One of the ways that F&S differentiates itself from other contractors is that we have over half of a century in experience. We have over 30 years experience in healthcare, over 50 years experience too in residential home building, as well as lots of other things. One of the things that customers frequently commend us for is our responsiveness, whether it's getting a proposal or an estimate out quickly, They may have an urgent situation and bring us literally a drawing on a napkin or something and need something to get done quickly. Or whether it's, they have an emergency situation and they're calling Gene or someone, a team member at, 9 o'clock at night or 3 in the morning.
We get to our clients and take care of their needs.
Another thing that F&S takes very seriously is safety, not only for our employees, but also for our customers. All of our team members, all new employees, go through a very thorough background check so that not only do we feel confident when an employee goes into a customer's home or on their property, but the customer can also feel very confident that they can trust the F&S team members.
Probably some of the key factors to consider when doing a remodel versus new construction. With remodeling, you're working with something that's existing already, and there are always going to be factors that you're not expecting or that you've got to compensate for. For instance, when you're moving walls or something like that, you've got to think about the structure. Some of the biggest challenges that homeowners often face is they have a finished product in their mind, they have a design that they want, but maybe their budget doesn't allow for it. So that's what F&S has been really good at doing, is helping clients get a finished product that they love that's within their budget. That takes some value engineering, that takes a lot of work through the design phase. It's much easier to get something correct and fixed on paper versus building something and they're not happy with it. So that design piece is really important, especially when you're trying to work within the constraints of a budget that maybe doesn't quite allow for everything that they want to do, but you have to pick your priorities and then be able to get them something that they're still happy with in the end.
From start to finish, and even after construction, F&S Building Innovations, Inc. is committed to being by your side, ensuring a smooth and seamless project.
Not all contractors are the same, so it's extremely important for the customer to do their research, whether or not the contractor has all of their licenses, whether they have all of their insurances, their general liability, their workers' compensation, whether they can be bonded or not. Read the reviews on Google or wherever it is, because you want to make sure that you properly vet your contractor that's going to be doing work in your home or in your facilities. One common misconception about the construction process is that someone is going to be on your project every single day from when the project starts till the project finishes. But unfortunately, there are times when sometimes no one is going to be on the project because, one, we're waiting for inspections and we are totally at the mercy of the locality and that jurisdiction and the load of their inspectors. And then another thing, especially like on the tail end of construction, like when someone is templating like their granite or their quartz countertops, you've got the cabinets in, the painting, everything's pretty much done, and you're waiting for the countertop. Well, they've got to come in and template, and then you're at the mercy again of the fabricator. Another misconception is that, and this is especially true in renovations, your new finishes are going to match exactly your old finishes. We certainly try to match as close as possible, but sometimes it's not always to match exact.
Customization can take several different turns when you're working on a renovation project. Sometimes it's just a matter of you're customizing the colors and the finishes to exactly what they want, because every project is different. There's no home that's the same. Everybody has a little different twist on the things that they like. But there are some times where you get into some real customization if folks are looking for custom wine cabinets. We're going to have to bring in vendors that can help us achieve if we've got welded pieces, glass pieces. So we can do as much or as little of that customization as the clients are looking for. It just kind of depends on, how custom they want to go.
A couple of differences between residential construction and commercial construction. Number one is in residential construction, especially if it's a renovation project, the homeowners and the family is living there 24/7. But also in the commercial arena, one of the biggest differences between residential and commercial construction is often we are working in environments that are in constant operation.
A lot of it is in a commercial is after hours work, nights, weekends. We have to work around the client, their operations.
A lot of times when we're doing a renovation in an operating room, that operating room has to be ready, has to be sterilized and ready to go the next morning. There's a lot of planning and things that go into all the processes.
Getting everything clean, ready for the next day is very, very important.
The building that we're sitting right now is Eastlake Community Church. It is a 56,000 square foot facility that has a sanctuary, mall area, children's area, full-size gym. F&S did this project as a design build. We did partner with an architect for the structure, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing design, and then I stepped in with the team from the church to do all of the interior finishes. It was a really fun project. Since then, we have added another 29,000 square foot school building. We've also added a 9,000 square foot field house, turf football field, baseball and softball fields. Along the way, we were always trying to make it very functional and very multifunctional. There are so many church folks and community groups and school groups that use this building. So we finished a really large patio space at the rear that has lighting, that has a fire pit, different features that people can use. This building gets so much use. There are so many nooks and alcoves. There's a coffee shop. So it was really fun to be a part of a project that not only serves this church, but serves our entire community.
Our experience with F&S Building Innovation has been incredible. The whole team there, from the owner all the way down to the guys that show up on the job site, have been impressive from day one. When you're building buildings 50,000 square feet, 30,000 square feet, and doing renovations in other buildings, there are a lot of surprises. So there were certainly some surprises, and one of the most remarkable thing, project after project, is how they could innovate and how they could be creative on the fly and always came in on time, on budget. What I love the most about the finished project is that together with F&S and their design team and their construction team, we have created something very unique and special here at Smith Mountain Lake. And they enabled us to have a church and a school and a ministry facility that not only serves our purposes, but stands out in the community and serves the community very well.
Being involved in the community and growing the trades is an important part of F&S Building Innovations culture. In 2020, the Build Smart Institute was opened.
F&S's goal when we started Build Smart Institute was not to benefit from it. It was to benefit our industry and benefit our community. Since we started in 2020, we have only hired one person that went to Build Smart Institute because our goal was to trade up people for the trades, to go to other construction companies, and to help the industry as a whole. 30,000 foot view, it's helped F&S because our whole team was involved, years of research and development. It helped us grow as a company, and we're here to serve our community. That was the point of Build Smart Institute.
We want to help fill that skills gap in the construction industry, but we want to put out construction professionals, career-ready adults who will fill that gap. We do trades training, so when you say that term, it means electrical, plumbing, HVAC, carpentry. We also do professional development. Within professional development, that would mean that if you're already in the industry and you want to move up, you would take project management, site supervision, construction document reading, those types of things. They're all national credentials. So we do NCCER credentials and HBI, and those are known nationally. So you can come to us and take those courses, and you can go to California and they're still recognized and have the same validity as they would here in Virginia. Build Smart Institute has the privilege of having many partners, Habitat for Humanity, Goodwill Industries, Ferrum College. We'll do anything we can to create a new pathway to put more people into the industry.
We think it's important for everyone to be able to have access to hands-on skill training.
There is a number of people that have the desire to do construction. They don't have the venue, and we're watching a lot of our older folks that have been in construction for years sort of age out and retire. So to be able to have apprentices at F&S and to have a trade school to allow us to teach some of these young folks and get them interested in construction has been incredible. So we feel privileged and blessed to be able to do that and contribute to our industry in that way.
And it's also an industry that has really opened up for women in the last few years. Within F&S Building, we have quite a few women employees, some project managers. So a trade school also opens up the academic side of construction to everyone.
While commercial construction is a key part of F&S Building Innovations' work, they are equally dedicated to residential projects.
Within F&S Building Innovations, we have both a residential and a commercial division. Our residential division primarily focuses on renovation. We do several hundred a year. That might be renovating a kitchen, renovating a bath, lots of detached garages with apartments. We live in Smith Mountain Lake area, which has a lot of people who have vacation homes, second homes. They'll buy a home that was built in the 70s or 80s, and then they want to make it theirs. So we're able to just to come in, gut it, sometimes add additions, give it a whole new facelift, modernize it. So it's really fun to see the transformation of all the different things we can do to people's homes. There's so many opportunities just to make your home a little bit better and make it comfortable. One of the really great things about the F&S team is we are able to help from concept to completion. Being able to offer that design and 3D rendering part in-house is very helpful. Most times you have to go to an architect, contract with them to get design drawings done, then go out and seek a contractor. We make that process kind of seamless because we can start with the design. If the first design is not exactly what you want, we tweak it and modify it until we get it exactly what you want it to be. Then you've got the same in-house people who are putting numbers to it. So as the design is happening, you're thinking about the budget along the way, which can be helpful versus you get this beautiful design that customers fall in love with and then they can't afford to get that work done. So being able to keep that budget in mind along the design process is very helpful and can keep the clients headed in the right direction.
It's about communication, working together. About communication, and either residential or commercial. When with the architects and the client, it's very, very hard to get a project done. It's got to be every day working together with the client, letting them know what's going on. And if you got questions, you go back to the architect and get that resolved as quick as you can, because not to delay the project.
You must communicate with the architects, the owners, the contractors, the designers. They all have a part to play and they all need to be on the same page. So communication is ultimately the most important factor in teamwork.
I chose F&S partly because we had started the process of looking at what we wanted to do to the house. So we started looking at companies around the lake, and F&S came as a highly recommended source of renovation work. Our experience was very good. It started with the beginning of the project where we got an initial estimate of what it would cost us. The overall experience has been great, from the beginning with the marketing team all the way through the finished product and the construction and renovation team that actually came to the house. Yeah, there were probably a few surprises. So with the project itself, the uniqueness to the home was that there had been a couple of renovations beforehand. So there had been walls that had been removed that had created some, I'll call it unique plumbing challenges. Some of it could be worked around. The team, and ultimately the decision was we had to work with those existing renovation modifications that were done, not something that normal plumbers would do. I have a drain that comes from upstairs that basically makes like 4 90-degree turns. But in the end, the complications associated with trying to make those changes would have been, would increase the scope significantly from a monetary standpoint as well as a timeline. So the decision was made, let's work within it. And the team did a great job of incorporating those challenges into the design, and ultimately we ended up with a finished product that looks fantastic. And along the way, each element of the design, or not the design team, but the construction team, did a great job in responding to mine and my wife's needs as far as how can we make it aesthetically pleasing in the end and making it work for everybody. Ultimately, the entire design opened up the kitchen, right? We moved a few things, we moved some appliances around. I think the biggest thing for both my wife and I is that we increased the amount of workspace and counter space. We made it more open. It used to be a bar height level between the two, what used to be two separate rooms. And we dropped all that countertop in so that we had this nice, huge peninsula. I jokingly say that I can take my hand and move it along the countertop, and I can literally walk about 30 feet before I ever take my hand off it, because it all seamlessly comes together. And between F&S design and the cabinetry and the countertop people, the granite that we put in, it's all one piece. It looks all together like it's supposed to be.
F&S Building Innovations will turn your vision into reality.
With F&S Building Innovations being a family company that my father started 50 years ago, you know, when I was growing up, I said, I'm not going to be part of the family business. I'm going to do my own thing. But yet, look where I am. And I can honestly say that the construction industry, it supports my family. My family loves it. And I'm very privileged and honored that I've had a part to be in this company for so many years. So F&S Building Innovations has had a great opportunity for church and worship facilities. And I think in the future, we're going to be participating in a lot more of those. We love the design build process. We love being a part of those faith-based projects. And I see a lot more of those in our future.
Want to know more about F&S Building Innovations, Inc.? Visit fsbuildinginc.com and visit us at designingspaces.tv. For more information about anything you've seen on today's show, or to become part of Designing Spaces, go to our website, designingspaces.tv.